Hello ClixFans and welcome to another episode of CritHitClix. This week we have a ton of previews for you. We have a leaked Opie Kit, so you get to see all the figures that will be coming in the Batman tournament play, some figures that you'll win in your tournaments if you win, and some prizes and items that you'll get in the Opie Kit. We have all that and normal previews from the week. So, I mean, Heroclix has been pushing out a ton of previews this week, so let's get started. The first figure I want to talk to you about is Matches Malone. For those of you who don't know, Matches Malone is Batman with a mustache. Apparently in Gotham City, the only difference between Bruce Wayne and a criminal is a mustache. Matches Malone comes in at 60 points and can ignore hindering terrain and other characters on movement. He also has the Underworld team ability, and he has a trait that says that he can use Perplex and Shape Change. When he uses Perplex, he can only modify opposing characters' combat values. He can also alter ego into two Batmans from this set. His dial looks pretty interesting. It has Mind Control, Close Combat Reflexes, Outwit, and I mean, it seems like a fun and interesting figure. I definitely don't think it's a horrible figure, but if I won a tournament, I would probably not choose to pick this one. The next figure in the Opie Kit is Azrael. He has the Batman Ally team ability, which grants him stealth, and he also has Outwit and Exploit Weakness. He has two clicks where Exploit Weakness and Blade Skull's Fangs overlap, so that's really great, and those are his last two clicks. He comes in at 78 points, and I think that he's a pretty decent figure. I do like Azrael, and I read some of his stories, especially when he took over for Batman when Bane broke Batman's back. So I think it's really cool that they finally are bringing him into the modern age. The next figure in the Batman set is the Renegade. The Renegade used to be Dick Grayson, and he has an interesting outfit. I believe that they use the same sculpt of the Nightwing. He has the Calculator team ability, which lets him be a wild card. He also has a special damage ability where he can use leadership, give him a free action to modify adjacent friendly characters' damage value by +1 until the end of the turn. So it's sort of like enhancement, but can also be used for close combat. The Renegade can be played at 83 points or 60 points. Overall, he has some decent attack and damage values, some decent defense values, and he has Indomitable, which is very helpful. I do like this figure, and I think he's a great addition to the Batman family. The last figure in the Batman Opie Kit is the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh. The Batman of Zur-En-Arrh was introduced to me through the Batman RIP series. It was sort of a backup personality that Batman had in case he ever went crazy, and it was awesome, and it just showed how prepared Batman is, and it was really cool. And I know that he was used previously in a Brave and the Bold team up or something. I don't know. I know he appeared before that, but I'm not exactly sure where or what issue. Batman of Zur-En-Arrh has to be my favorite figure in the Opie Kit. He has a trait that allows him to use super strength and toughness, and he also has a trait named Emergency Backup Personality. The Batman of Zur-En-Arrh can use probability control. When he does, if the final attack result is a hit and is doubles, heal him of 1 damage. So that is an extremely useful ability. He also has Perplex, Outwit, and he has a special ability on his attack that says the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh ignores other characters' stealth. Characters targeted by the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh can't use Mastermind, Shape Change, and Super Senses for that action. Definitely want to try to get my hands on this figure. Overall, the Opie Kit looks really good. The figures look great. The special items look like they're gonna add a lot of new playability to certain things. I'm excited to see how everything works with the utility belt. I'm not too sure how it works yet. I know if you look at the HD Realms unit section that their utility belt is there, so you can take a look at what powers and what kind of stuff it'll bring to the game, but it's always better to see it in person. So the first preview for this week, outside of the Opie Kit, is Batgirl. This Batgirl is the Stephanie Brown version. Stephanie Brown took over for Batgirl after Cassandra Cain decided to hand over the cowl. This Batgirl comes in at 71 points. She has the Batman Allies team ability, and she has a special ability on her attack that says she can use energy explosion as if she had 2 lightning bolts. When she does, hit characters are given an action token. She also has a special ability on her damage, which says in contact with proxy. Batgirl can use Outwit. When she does, she can only target a character within 5 squares. It's not terrible. For 71 points, I'm definitely hoping to get this Batgirl and add her to my Batman family teams. Ever since the reboot, DC has been very hush-hush about Stephanie Brown. I don't know exactly what's going on back there, but I really hope that they figure things out because I want them to bring her back into the New 52. So the next figure I want to talk to you about is Bruce Wayne. This Bruce Wayne is from the single figure booster set of the Batman main set. I'm not sure when this is set to release. I'm assuming sometime in November, but the single figure booster set actually looks really good. In comparison to the main set figures, some of them actually look better, so I'm definitely going to try to get a brick of these when they come out. Bruce Wayne comes in at 50 points and has a really interesting dial. He has 3 starting lines that you can play him at, all giving him different abilities and different play tactics. On his first starting line, he has Close Combat Reflexes, Perplex. He has a special ability that allows him to use telekinesis, but he cannot attack with objects while using it. So I think that this will definitely help you get the other Batman family members or the Gotham City members to be moved around easier with Bruce Wayne. I don't exactly know what it's supposed to represent. The power is called Millions to buy anything or anyone, so I'm assuming it means that he can buy a means of transportation for you. Bruce Wayne will pay for your bus fare. His next starting line, he has Phasing and Teleport, Incapacitate, Barrier, and Outwit. I don't like this specific version as much, but with Incapacitate and Outwit, he is able to definitely stop a lot of figures and be a decent support piece. The last dial has Shape Change and Mastermind, and a special power named Hush in Disguise. Bruce Wayne can use Blade Skull's Fangs, Poison, and has 2 lightning bolts. I really like the Heroclix mechanic that allows you to play figures at multiple starting lines, especially lower point figures that would normally have a lot of wasted KO space. I think this is a great way of giving players new ways of using old figures and multiple strategies within a single game. The next figure that was previewed this week is the Batman from the single figure booster set. From the main set has already been previewed, and I think if you look enough you can find the Batman from the Fast Forces set. In the Batman set there's tend to be a lot of Batman, so it's up to you honestly to see which Batman best suits what your team needs. And I actually don't mind that there's a ton of Batman. I feel like Batman is such an iconic character that he has had so many writers that write him differently and make his strategies different in combat. So I feel like having all these Heroclix representations of him actually brings diversity to your teams and helps you to pick and choose what type of Batman you believe best suits you. This Batman can ignore hindering and elevated terrain on movement. He has a lot of Smoke Cloud, Exploit Weakness, Incapacitate, and he has some Close Combat Expert. He also has Charge and Flurry sprinkled in there. He comes in at 86 points and has the Batman Allied Team ability. He also has a Transporter ability, so he can move and attack with a -2 to his attack value. He can also carry other figures. This is an interesting Batman. I don't know if this is my favorite. I do like that he has Exploit Weakness, but I kind of wish he had Perplex or Outwit thrown in there. This seems to be more of a fighting Batman with Close Combat Expert and Exploit Weakness being the main damage powers. By attaching the utility belt to this Batman, you definitely make it a more diverse figure, and according to what I've seen, some of it gives you bonus to your stats, and it also allows you to use Outwit and other powers like that Batman would normally have. The next figure I want to talk to you guys about is the Black Canary. She is from the Streets of Gotham. I think it's a countertop display set. She comes in at 62 points and has the Batman Allied Team ability. She has 3 range and a couple of really cool powers that definitely represent her really well. She has a special power on her attack that says she can use Incapacitate. When she uses it, make a close combat attack, modify her attack value by +2, and all adjacent opposing characters are targeted. So that's really cool. It represents her scream really well. I feel like as powers get more complicated and more diverse, it definitely allows figures to get better representations of their powers. So I like this, and I think it's a great use of her power and a great representation of her. I also like how she has Exploit Weakness and some Close Combat Expert at the end of her dial. She's a really great fighter in the comic books, and I think it's cool that they represent that here. The Joker and Harley Quinn were both introduced this week. Both of them were from the countertop display set. The Harley Quinn has a calculator ability, 79 points, and 6 range. There's not much to Harley Quinn. Some low attack values, low defense values, and a really high point value. Next up is the Joker. I'm a huge fan of the Joker. He's an amazing character and is so dynamic, and especially in the Batman series, it really seems to be one of the few characters that many of those that work in Gotham, like the heroes of Gotham, really fear. And I mean, you have such crazy, psychotic people, and Joker just really takes the cake when it comes to Gotham City villains. And with the New 52, he's been kind of gone for a while, and I know that he is making a comeback. The Joker has 2 traits. One of them is Harley's My Girl. If Harley Quinn took damage from an attack since your last turn, you may give the Joker a free action. If you do, place the Joker adjacent to a character that caused Harley Quinn to take damage and target that character with a close combat attack. Harley Quinn is dealt 1 unavoidable damage. If Harley was KO'd during your opponent's last turn, the Joker's attack value becomes 12 until the end of your turn. So I think that's a really great chance for you to come in and really defend Harley in case she dies. And I think that'll come in handy to definitely give the Joker some movement. And I think it's a cool and creative ability. And I hope that we get to see more things like this in which characters get a trade where they automatically kind of defend someone in case they're attacked or something along those lines. He also has another trait where he can use probability control, but only during your turn. So it's definitely going to help some of those attacks stick, especially on the second click when he only has 8 attack. I really like this Joker, but honestly I can't tell if it's just because I like the character or because the dial is actually good. I think it's one of those dials that you're going to have to see play in action, and then you're really going to get to know whether it's good or not. Everyone's going to have their own opinion on it. The final preview for this week is Dove. Dove comes in at 86 points and starts off with Exploit Weakness and 0 damage. She has 0 damage throughout her whole dial, but she can use Close Combat Expert on a couple of clicks. She has pretty decent values. She can use Regeneration, and she has Toughness. Her special defense power is Defend, and she can use super senses. So that's a kind of great ability. 18 defense, that's a really great ability to share with fellow teammates and boost up people, especially if you are using a stealth team. 18 defense shared is a great thing to have. And super senses definitely makes her a hard target to hit. She also has a special trait where it basically says when she makes a close combat attack, you replace her damage value with the printed damage value of her target. Looking at everything else, it's a pretty decent figure, but the trait is what really pushes it over the edge. I mean, if she's going up against the Hulk, you can give her, potentially she can have like 6 clicks of damage or whatever printed values they have. Going against really strong figures in general and having that exploit weakness and being able to take their big damage, that definitely makes her a contender. So this week I have a Halloween themed comic book team of the week. This week's comic book team of the week is the Zombie Trinity. The Trinity consists of Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman. But since zombie version, they are the Blackest Night Black Lantern versions from the DC 10th anniversary set. They are all chase figures. Unfortunately, I have not been lucky enough to get all of them. But if you have all of them, it'd be a great team to use. Now it's time for Comic Book Team of the Week! So let's talk about Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is 138 points. She starts off with Charge, she has Indomitable, Impervious, 4 damage with Exploit Weakness, and Super Strength. Later on, her attack values decrease and go on to become 8s, and she even goes down to a 2 attack, which once again, I really don't think anybody who's supposed to be a powerhouse should have. She has a special trait that says whenever an opposing character within 4 squares rolls a 1 or 2 for super senses, you may heal Wonder Woman of 1 damage. All 3 of these figures have some sort of trait along these lines, where if someone fails a roll for something and they get a 1 or 2, they get to heal 1 click of damage. So I think that's really cool and creates a couple of decent options. I mean, if I had this Wonder Woman, and especially with that ability, I would send her against people with super senses, which probably may or may not be the best idea, but I know that she has the potential to heal that 1 click. She also has a special trait on her speed called Black Lasso. She can use Incapacitate as if she had a range of 6. When she does, instead of giving a hit target an action token, you may place that character adjacent to Wonder Woman and make a close counter attack as a free action targeting that placed character. So it's kind of that's a really interesting power and allows you to kind of reel someone in and then make a close combat attack. When she has this power, it overlaps with the 9 attack and an 8 attack, and it's not really placed in the best position. It'd be really great if that power was in the beginning when she has more damage capability, but I mean, it's still a really interesting power, and if pulled off correctly, it can do a lot of damage. Batman has a mixed bag of powers for his Black Lantern version. He also has Indomitable. He has Perplex, Outwit, and Exploit Weakness, which are all really great powers and really sort of Batman-esque powers. He has a special trait that says Empowered by Deception. And when an opposing character within 4 squares roll a 1 or 2 for shape change, may heal Batman of 1 damage. So once again, it's that idea of failing on a roll makes him kind of heal click damage. He's powered by you sucking. He also has a special trait called Rise, which gives him stealth and leap climb. So that's really great. I really don't like when figures have stealth and then they're kind of stuck, or they have a hard time kind of maneuvering through hindering terrain. He also has Reign of the Black Rings, which gives him Pulse Wave as if he had a range value of 8. When he does, friendly characters that share a keyword with Batman reduce damage dealt to them by 2-0. So that's another cool power. I love when I use Pulse Wave on a large group of people and a couple of them were on their last click and, you know, end up being killed off. It feels so great. It seems like you might want to use Batman to use Perplex and take advantage of his outwit, and then later on when he has exploit weakness, really get him into the fray and start, hopefully by that point, have a couple of combats with Batman and use him as a tied figure. So the last figure in this trinity is the Superman Black Lantern Chase figure. He's a really powerful figure, 170 points, and also has Indomitable. So this team definitely does not lack Indomitable. I think that's a really great power that kind of tends to really give the upper hand if you have enough characters that have it, especially in smaller point games like 400 to 300 point games. He starts off with 11 attack, 18 defense, impervious, and 5 damage. He also has a power that lets him heal if you roll a 1 or 2 for leadership, and at the end of his dial he gets regeneration and toughness that cannot be countered. I really like the Superman, and I like how hypersonic speed is sort of sprinkled in there. I feel like with the newer Superman, they've been attempting to kind of use hypersonic speed and have it mixed throughout the dial and not have it all be at the end or all at the beginning. Thank you for watching CritHitClix.